What is up, everybody? This is Jonah
and
we are here live in studio with one of our coaches,
Sean King. What's up, guys?
There we go. And we are about to walk through an hour's worth of questions, thoughts, concerns, all about the infinite banking concept. That's what we do here Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern. And what we want to take time to do is make sure that we get your questions. We want to, not only we want you to ask them, that we're going to answer them directly if we can. We'll go through some of our social media comments, some of the YouTube. Is anything else not called a comment? DMs, PMs. There's all sorts of things people can send us, emails, chats, right? And we'll make sure that we get all the questions answered. But what we want to do during this time is just make sure that you guys know that we're here for you. This is our infinite banking, ask us anything that you like time. And that's what we want to do. We kind of want to walk through it. So before we jump in to begin, because this is live and sometimes people join lives like crazy. They join them early, they join them late. What I want to take a quick second to do is just introduce who we are and what the infinite banking concept's all about, and then we'll just jump in straight to some topics. Right?
So 10 years ago, we were just regular bros. Now we are finance bros. But what we mean by that is regular bros have taken a very strategic concept that many of you may start hearing about, or if you're joining us on our Facebook pages or group, you know about. You've heard of this infinite banking thing my brother mentioned.
Yep.
And we've broken it down to the common man's language. We want to make sure we take out as much jargon as possible and introduce you to what they used to call the vernacular, meaning what do regular people say? How do regular people understand this? So 10 years ago, we were doing everything traditional in work, against, for, with our families in a dog-eat-dog financial environment. And now we've teamed up with coaches like Sean King to walk and talk people through exactly what they need for code cracking cash flow conversations. That's what we're doing. We're talking about cash flow. We always want more of it. We want it to be available and we want it to be even income tax free. So that's what we're going to have a conversation about today, Jonah. And I think that's going to be a big theme of our 2025 all year long.
All year long. New year, new me. Same me, though. There we go. Same me, though. Here I go talking about infinite banking. Oh, man, I got to tell you guys, I need a little bit of an update, right? A little bit of an update for everybody. We just got through Christmas week. So that means we all had to buy some presents, right? Sean's got a little guy over there. You buy him some presents, Sean?
He don't get nothing. I only put money into his policy. He just all into his policy. He don't get no gifts.
He got wrapping paper to play with.
I saw for sure this little man was shooting a basketball in the little basketball thing.
Yeah, he got it. That's what you got, family and other people.
Got you. There we go. Okay, so here's my little update from Christmas. So of course I had to buy presents. I got a 7-year-old. He's also got a birthday right before Christmas.
This
5
is for
days.
Your Christmas and your birthday.
Right. But we got him separate gifts. Crazy. Yeah. Okay. It's not it wasn't my decision. But anyway, here we go. So I had to buy a bunch of Christmas presents. I also had to buy a bunch of birthday presents. 2 other kids also, family members, that sort of thing. White elephant, Secret Santa, you know. And so what I had to do is I had to go purchase all of those things. I put them on a credit card because I like miles. That's my thing. I like miles. I like to travel. But then I had to take a loan from a policy in order to pay off the credit card. Ooh. Right. So I actually took the loan yesterday. It was the first. So I did it online because they weren't open to call. They was the first. Yeah. Right. Okay. No problem. And I also forgot that I had a policy premium due last week. So I paid that yesterday also.
Okay, so you've got multiple policies. I heard several things for the people.
So that's an update.
You've got multiple policies. A lot of people stop me in my tracks when I mention I have more than one.
Yep.
Okay. Number 2, you decided to take a loan. What does that mean? You're going to take a loan from life insurance. You still have premiums to pay.
Yep.
But are we paying back loans? I always pay back loans. Everybody wants to know, how does that work?
I pay back loans. You better believe it.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things in there that you might want to dive into. And you probably were headed somewhere with all that.
Yeah. Well, I'm just giving it a little update.
Oh, okay.
For
yeah.
Everybody.
So I don't have an update like that, even though I'd like to be paying some premiums. I've got things on auto draft now, finally.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing things
for like loan repayments.
Both that and premium payments.
And premiums. Yeah.
But I have multiple policies. So, Sean, out of all the things that you just heard Jonah say, you being kind of new compared to us, a decade into infinite banking, you're in your first more like 10 months, deca months into infinite banking as a personal practitioner. What stood out to you about Jonah and his update that you think the people want to know about? We have the curse of knowledge. We've been here a while. I know the answers to the questions. I could answer them as well. But for someone who's newer, went through your first family Christmas while having infinite banking policies, what would you think the people want to know about Jonah's update?
Yeah, so I think first of all, guys, Happy New Year.
Hey, thank you.
Yes, it's going to be a big one this
Hit
year.
some of them buttons, man.
Oh, there goes. All right.
So-
And nope.
No, that's not the right. That's
I was
not the
looking
right
for
sound.
a New Year sound. No, these are terrible on the bottom.
These-
How
I mean, that
about
was-
this one?
He's just
Terrible.
hitting stuff, folks.
Sorry.
He's just hitting stuff.
Sean, interrupt me quick.
Let's get those labeled first of all. So I would say, I heard the man say, take a loan to pay a loan to pay off some,
Ooh,
some debt.
Good point. Double
And-
negative
Yeah,
can equal a positive, right?
like, why would I ever be taking a loan from something to pay off other debts that I have? I know people out there might do it, but once you understand infinite banking, you really understand what that process is and how that money starts flowing and why we would take a loan to pay off debt. But that, and then the fact that you can be in total control. It sounded like you're like, I haven't made this payment back yet, but I'm planning on making these payments. And I can tell you for sure that if you had debts to that credit card company and you were like, oh, I haven't paid that back yet, but I'm planning on it, they would be up in your grill. Doesn't matter if it's Christmas, doesn't matter if it's New Year's Day. They're reaching out to Jonah looking for their money.
That is exactly correct. They're going to send them automatic emails. Okay, so here's what I'm doing, everybody, just in case you were interested and you want to know. So when I put the purchases for the Christmas, my son's 7, right? I got him Pokemon cards, and my little baby boy got a scooter, right? Regular Christmas gifts that you guys bought too. But when I put them on the credit card, the reason I did it is for the points and the miles. That's what I like because I like to travel. Now, you all know if you put something on a credit card, you do have some time to pay this credit card off before they'll actually charge you the interest, right?
Yeah.
You've got plenty of time. So I want to do that. Now, I've got 2 options when I go to pay off this credit card. I can obviously pay it off with my income that I make, or I could use a policy loan, insurance company cash value in order to pay off the credit card. So I decided to use the insurance company cash value. So I took a loan, another loan, this time private loan, unstructured loan to pay off the public structured loan. So here, let me be clear, just so everybody's getting it. If I leave that balance on the credit card, that affects my credit report. I log into Credit Karma and the numbers went up, down, left, right, sideways. I don't even know what's happening over there, but that's what's going to happen if I leave that thing on the credit card, right? Not only that is, of course, if I don't pay it, they're going to charge me interest. That's 2 negative things, right? And then third, you don't pay it long. I don't even know what happens. You don't pay a credit card long enough.
They break your legs.
Collections.
They send somebody for you.
So you
They
ain't
send some.
So you
there
ain't
you go.
you ain't even been there. You acting like you better than us.
I have not been there.
You haven't been chased down. I haven't either. I'm
But-
just acting.
but
I'm
anyway.
just trying to be like the people today.
But anyway, so what I decided to do is take the loan privately for my infinite banking policy because it's now private and unstructured. So here's what I mean. Private. It's not showing up on Credit Karma. I can log in my Equifax, what's the other one? Equifax.
Fair
and-
Trans something.
Yeah, that's it. It's not
TransUnion.
showing up.
TransUnion.
Right? It's
Yeah.
not showing up. That's important to me. The second thing is there's not I got somebody hounding me. No one's coming if you don't pay, if you do pay, no one's coming. And so I decided to go that way. Now here's what I'll do with my income. Then I'll take my income as it comes in and I'll repay the policy loan. Right? So I've added a step.
Okay.
We've talked about that we've got some friends who talk about that all the time. But what I did is add one step. That's what I did. A lot of people use credit cards for points. That happens all the time. A lot of people use their income to pay off their credit card. I added a step. That's what I did. I went credit card for the gifts, policy for the credit card, income for the policy. I added a step. But what I accomplished in that time frame is so much, right? And that's what we want to talk about, some of the benefits of infinite banking, because I accomplished so many cool things just by doing that, by adding that one step. So that's what I did. That was just a little Christmas update, man. I was, moving and shaking in the last week. That's
Love
all.
to hear it. So, Sean, one of the things that I want to ask you and pose this question to you. One of the things that we covered in a podcast episode that is soon to come out in the new year, talking about whole life insurance. Infinite banking actually had a lot more to do with long-term planning. We know you're all about legacy, life, and retirement. And so what we were able to do this past week, we went to go see mom and dad. Mom and dad have 6 kids. We're 2 of 6. 4 of us were in the house. And we were start to talk about long-term thinking and family planning around life insurance, how life insurance can play into things. Here's my question for you. We ended with a live 2 weeks ago, 2024, talking about coming into those conversations or potential conversations. Did you have any serious family, financial, fortune conversations with your family?
So I am always having those conversations with my family, whether it's continuing to educate my parents about the benefits of infinite banking. I know they were coming into the end of this year because they had just had a big move. They moved from California out to Florida, where my wife and I and my sister and her family are, and they wanted to get their budget right. So before they jumped into anything else, it was like, let us end the year by putting this all down on paper, figuring out what's coming in, what's going out, and then let's have that conversation about what we have extra to start funneling into this policy that you've been talking about helping us set up. So we're constantly having those type of conversations. I had some great conversations with clients that I currently have that wanted to start new policies. Some of those clients are family members.
Yeah.
And then again, my wife and I went over to watch some football yesterday. Her Oregon Ducks got smacked by Ohio State. She was very upset about that. That was not good game. But the friends that we went over to, we started talking about some things that we were doing and, you know, their situation, how we're creating cash flow and essentially some passive income, and it piqued their interest. So we started having conversations about that. But really, we're having those conversations in this household, in the King family household, all the time, because learning and understanding how that's going to work and affect you long term and the cash flow that's going to be created, because we all know it's all about how much cash flow you have, not about that big number that they show you in your account. How much of that money can I actually use? How much is it flowing? We're constantly talking about that.
I love it. I hope you guys continue that conversation. Look forward to big things for the King clan. I guess if you're the king, you don't need a clan. Everybody is just a subject. Let's go.
Bars.
Okay. So here's the question I want to pose to both of you guys out here. In 2025, if you want to continue having these conversations, by the way, go ahead and click the bio link wherever you are. Get in touch with us. Or if you don't know where to start and I can't figure out which platform you guys are watching us live on, shout out to our Banking Bros TikTok audience. Go to saveandspendsystem.com. Saveandspendsystem.com. That's the name of our Infinite Banking 101. That's where you start. And it's going to help you get into the rhythm of working alongside of us. And that starts with a free consultation. You want to have a conversation about the King clan and what they're doing in their household and their kingdom, then you want to hit Sean up by clicking in those places, or find him at Legacy Life and Retirement on the social channel platforms. Jonah, here's the question for you, and then I'll kick it to Sean again.
I'm ready.
We're talking about code cracking cash flow,
Yes,
2025. Sir. Actually, I want you to take me back. The last 3 years, we're here, beginning of January. Everybody talks about a clean slate, new year, new me, all that stuff. The last 3 years, what was the biggest financial positive that you experienced last 3 years? Then I'm going to chunk it down, fellas. Okay. I'm going to chunk it down from there. So I want you to go overall 3 years, and then I'm going to make that smaller. Let's go back and forth.
Overall, in the last 3 years, biggest financial positive.
22 to now.
Yeah,
22 to now.
That's pretty easy for me. It's between two things.
Okay.
The first thing, believe it or not, you're going to laugh at this. Sean might not. The very first positive is, one, getting all of my policy premiums paid, because May, it comes at you. If you know, you know what I mean? Anyway, no, what I'm saying for all of you folks out there, I've got more than one policy, and I was not paying attention really when I started them and acquired a few more. And it turns out I've got like 5 or 6 premiums due in May. So May comes and gets me quick. Like, it's January 2nd right now. It might as well be May for me. May's coming. It's like the Game of Thrones. Winter is coming.
Yeah.
May. May is coming.
Okay, so what you're saying, Jonah, is you had a trouble tracking and actually becoming your own banker. So what I'm extrapolating from that is banking is now that extra step you mentioned added into your life. You needed to pay attention.
I needed
Like
to
now
pay
that
attention.
I'm a banker, like what does a banker do?
Yep. I needed to pay attention. And I didn't do that very well for a few years. And then by the time I started tracking it, it was like, oh, May. I'm wondering why I ain't got no money in June and July. Like, what's happening? May. That's why. And then I'm realizing, oh, but here's where it gets fun. June and July and August and September, all of those months is where I basically do all of my significant household purchasing, because that's where I get all the cash value back.
Got it.
My
We'll
my
get to that.
whole year is set
Love
for
it.
like July and August.
Okay, Sean, we're going to you, man. On the last 3 years, I'm not sure how long you've been married, my friend, but you guys had a baby last year, 2024 now. Last 3 years, 22 to now, biggest financial, yes, check, positive, 3 years.
So outside of setting up our policies, which is, I think, without a doubt, the biggest, we had sold a piece of property that we owned in Texas, and that netted us about $100,000 in cash, which really allowed us to start doing and implementing a lot of these things that we started doing really last year in 2024. So I think that was a huge catapulting factor in just kind of launching ourselves into this next phase of, becoming business.
I like it.
Okay, very good. A man of business, selling property. Jonah, let's take it down to 1 year,
Ready.
2024.
See, 2024 was a continuation of all the things that I had already been doing. So
Sure.
I did not particularly do.
I'm going to chunk it down again, so you got to give me something.
Well, 2024, I didn't do anything new almost in 2024.
Okay.
I rinsed and repeated all the things that worked before.
So you identified what
Yep.
was working,
Yep.
and you kept it going.
That is correct.
We'll take it.
So
But there wasn't any particular purchase you made.
that's not true.
Okay.
That's not true. So sorry.
Okay.
A few years ago,
I'm springing it on
probably
you. I'm
about
springing it
3
on you.
or 4 years ago, I started private lending. Right. And so what that means for all those who are watching, I took some of my cash values and I gave them to some people in our area and loaned them to some people in our area and some other people not in our area.
It's a 4-letter word.
That
Gave.
were interested in flipping houses and doing all sorts of fun stuff. We got all the notes correct. We got all the paperwork right. And so they owed me the payments back. I privately lent them the money and they had to repay it.
Okay.
And so I did one of my biggest private lending deals to date, actually, January of 24.
There you go. Okay. So,
actually.
and you recently realized as the note's coming due, it was the right type of note. You got it vetted and looked at.
Yep.
It was a big deal.
Yep.
And now it's coming home to roost.
It's coming home.
Okay. Very good.
Like, we can't sing that song no more. Forgot about him.
I'm coming home.
Yeah, can't sing that no
I can't
more.
sing at all, ladies and gentlemen. A new year, new throat cancer. Okay.
Baby oil.
All
Can't do
right.
it.
But I put my money in baby oil this past year is what I did.
Should have.
Okay.
1,000
Johnson
bottles.
and Johnson. All right, Sean King, 2024.
Good try, Diddy.
Biggest financial positive.
Let's see here. So 2020, without a doubt, my biggest financial positive was putting our first set of policies in place so I could take some of that money that I had and not lose it by paying off the $15,000 that we had in credit cards and $40,000 that I had in student loans. So we had this money for a while, and I'm like, I really want to pay these debts off, but understanding how infinite banking worked, I knew there's no way I'm giving up this money until I get these things in place, because if I do, there goes 55 grand that I will never see again in my life. That will never make me another dollar. So it was a good year to part with my money, but still keep my money and get some of those monkeys off my back.
It's a crazy thing to say to people who don't know what we're talking about. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, when we're utilizing our dollars inside these custom constructed, I'm trying to figure out how to say that well, because so much of what we say and what I like to come up with is actually alliterated. Custom construction of life insurance. You might hear properly designed. He'll say properly designed. I'm trying to get him off that right now, trying to come up with a new alliteration. You don't lose your money.
That's a big
Most
deal.
people, Sean, when you say that, are not understanding, I would assume. If they haven't started, they don't realize that if you pay premiums into custom constructed, properly designed whole life insurance, you actually still have this money somehow, or you have some money, or you can get money. That's new to people. So I want to remind everybody that the phone lines are open and we are going to help you understand that. And if you don't want to talk to us, you're not ready yet, but you do want to watch our video, you can go to saveandspendsystem.com. When you do that, you will realize that we're talking about a way to save your money in an environment, not invest. We're talking put, P-U-T, give, G-I-V-E, pay, P-A-Y, keep, K-E-E-P, not invest. We're talking about putting your money in an environment that still allows you, like Sean said, to have this $55,000 somehow.
Yep.
Even though I've put my money somewhere, I still have it and I can use it. And now Fannie Mae is gone. Gone. I love that, Sean. So we're going to chunk it down a little bit further, Jonah.
Right.
90 days.
In the last 90?
90 days.
I didn't do anything in the last 90.
It
did take me a second because I got to think.
90.
This is quarter four.
Quarter
this is
four.
October, November.
Remember,
December.
While you think about it, let me give you some more time.
All right.
Okay, so we're talking about. Let me pull this book off the shelf once again. Ladies and gentlemen, this book really helped change our thinking. And right now, I'm doing a lot of auditing of my life, not just in the financial world. I'm asking these guys finances, but I mean, there's faith, there's family. We've talked about all these things already at some point. There's friends, right? And there's fun, right? There's other types of things going on in your life. We're talking about finances on this channel at the Cash Compound with our cash coaching hour. We're trying to help you guys understand that, hey, money can be a tool to make everything else work. Whatever you're trying to work in the faith category, in the family category, in the fun category. You're trying to travel like Sean, get your money right. So what I want to know is if you're a banker, Jonah,
Yep.
that means that this is a process that's always happening.
Yep.
So if it's always happening, you probably had money go in and out in the last 90 days.
I did.
Okay. So cash flow is a word for money going in and out. Cash flow is money going in and out.
Yep.
So because you're a banker, tell us specifically. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention something, but tell us specifically something that obviously must have happened in the last 90 days. And then I'm going to chunk it down one more time after that.
That's fine.
Okay. One more time after that. And it's going to be the Christmas holiday. So you can say the last 2-3 weeks. But reminder, one of the things that Sean was talking about is getting out of debt.
Yeah.
Huge.
I got
off
mine.
bills.
I had to think about it for a second.
Yeah,
I got it. I had to think about it.
But I'm going to chunk it down one more time after this. Jonah, what you got for 90 days? Fourth quarter.
So the crazy part about this, right, as you relate to people talking about being your own banker, hopefully you guys are feeling me, hearing me out here, because in the last 90 days, I had to pay a tax bill.
Oh.
So you better believe I extended that thing from April to October, right? September 15? October 15th. I don't remember. I don't know what the extension date was, but I know that I paid it in the last 90 days. So this is a big bill.
This
right?
is a annual federal income tax bill.
Annual federal
you own
income
a business,
tax bill. There you go.
Your business is passed through to your personal liability.
That's right.
Okay.
So here's the key. It's very, very similar to what Sean said. It's amazing to me. I used to talk about this all the time. I haven't talked about it in a long time. But when we first started the policies, I used to call the cash value usable cash. And the reason I used to call it that is because I would save up money before I had policies, and I never wanted to use it. I never wanted to use it because it took me so long to save it up. Right? So hard to save it up. And I didn't have the thought process in my head, like if I spend it, I'll never get it back. That wasn't what I was thinking. It was just more like I spend it and that bank balance drops, and it took me so long to get it up there. Right?
That is fair.
Right. And so what I did in the last 90 days is I paid a big tax bill. But the key here is it's so much easier to pay it when it's someone else's money, when it's OPM. When I know that the money that I contributed is still safe and sound and is going to earn for me, it's way easier to pay. I still don't like paying it, but I'm not nearly as hurt or attached or tied to or have a grip on the funds like I would if it was mine. Like it is not the same.
I love it. So we have now gotten out of debt in 2024. And in the fourth quarter, Jonah has helped us understand we can pay Uncle Sam with this money as well.
Mm-hmm.
We all have taxes to pay, federal, state, gas, groceries, and library tax. We all got taxes to pay, but now we're utilizing OPM, other people's money, from the insurance company we have an account with to use. I love that. Very good. Sean, quarter four.
Yeah, so a lot of similar things, but I think one of the things that you start to learn as you start making more money and surrounding yourself with people who do the same, who are very knowledgeable and intelligent like yourselves and some of the other people that we work with, is what are the people with money doing? And what we learned is they have trusts set up. They have a CPA. And so we got a trust, a family trust set up. We got a CPA to show us how to take advantage of the tax codes that are there for us to take advantage of and put more of that money that we would be giving to Uncle Sam back in our pocket, because as business owners, there's a tons of tax advantages that we get. So we put some things in place. We get to take advantage of the Augusta rule of paying our son $14,600 this year.
Was able to believe it.
Yep, helped us set up our LLC. So
have y'all met the vice president of the cash compound?
So we're checking all the boxes on that stuff. But again, at the end of the day, it's just keeping more of my money and giving the government a little bit of someone else's money.
There it is.
That's good, man. A lot of people out there, of course, we need to understand and relate that what we're helping with is cash flow. And another great person out there in your CFO, what is it called? Your board of directors, your family board of directors needs to be your accountant CPA type idea. Okay. There's a lot of people in our space who say CPA, that designation is not necessary. However, I'm not hating on them right now. What I'm trying to say is you need someone who helps you with tax planning, not just tax prep.
Yeah.
Tax prep
strategy. You need that strat.
Yeah. So we've had a roller coaster in the last 5 years, 6 years.
We have
of several different people trying to come up with the right person's team in our tax strategy, tax planning, tax prep category as well, trying to make sure we were ready for filing. Filing can be done by clicking buttons online. Some of you are doing that right now, but you're leaving money on the table that you can keep. You're leaving it on the table, meaning the income is already going to be taxed.
Yep.
And if you want to get it back, you need a proper strategy. That's a good one, Jonah. It's a good one. Okay, we're chunking it down one more time. Maybe you can come up with something different than you said a little bit earlier. You gave us a little bit, but Christmas specifically.
Yeah.
Christmas, the last 2 weeks, 1 week, or whatever. If we're banking, help the people understand who want to get started with this process. You're trying to vet it and figure out what we're talking about. How did we use it in December?
Yeah. December was a relatively slow month for my family because it's the holidays. We slow down on purpose, right? We slow down on purpose. Time to rest, relax. And give me another R.
Rest, relax, and rejuvenate.
And so slow month. So basically what we used the policy for in December was those presents that I mentioned to you earlier. That's what we did with the policy. I did not have to travel anywhere that cost me a bunch of money. Drove 5 hours, 6 hours to mom's house. I drive an electric vehicle. So just charge that up one charge to get there. And it's actually free charging. It just didn't cost me anything. Went grocery shopping once, right? Got some popsicles for the kids and whatnot and bought Christmas presents. That's what I did. Basically prepped all of December with normal expenses in anticipation for the 2 weeks off at the end of the month. So Christmas presents is what we did. Like I mentioned earlier, credit card for the presents, policy to pay off the credit card, income to pay back the policy. That's the plan there for the Christmas presents.
Sean, same question. Recent December New Year's Eve party. What something like that. How did you use your banking system in the most minute detail recently?
We're always using our banking system, man. So if you guys don't follow me on any of my social media accounts or my personal account where I post a lot of stuff I'm doing in my normal life, it's my full name, Sean, Mikael, King, King. We like to travel a lot. We travel all the time, all over the place. And one thing we like to do basically every year, even though we just had a child, is leave the country around Christmas time, head over to Europe and check out some Christmas markets. So we went to Barcelona, Spain, and 2 different cities in Poland. My wife, myself, and my at that time 11-month-old son. And we did that all on a policy loan. So took a loan from the policy because we know every year we like to do these trips, and funded that whole thing with that loan. And now we set up repayments to pay our policy back. And just like Jonah said, you put that stuff on the credit card, you rack up those miles. We had just opened a new credit card. So we got, of course, we hit the bonus that you need required. So we got that 75,000 points. And policy loan to take a European family Christmas vacation.
Let's go. National Lampoon's European. Let's get it. Barcelona. You have to say it right.
Barcelona, yeah.
Did you do Poland this year? Did you do Poland this year too?
I have not been to Poland. No.
Are we doing Poland next year?
Good.
I have no idea.
Are we making this up?
I have no idea.
I don't remember where we're going. Okay, good stuff. Now, ladies and gentlemen, reminder, if you want to practice these things that you've heard from 3 years down to 3 weeks with our coaches helping you hand in hand along the way. I got to pay off debt. Man, I got taxes where I live. I'm trying to go on vacation. You see how many things we're utilizing this for. All of these things that we do, buy cars and houses, sell cars and houses, go on trips, we get Christmas presents for the kids. That's what you do. But we're going to add one step in so we control the banking function so we don't lose out on the interest by paying someone else a bunch of extra dollars in fees and charges. That's interest. Or losing our own money by paying cash. That's what Sean introduced us to, because he either had $55,000 had to go out the window, or he could reuse, recycle it by putting it in one place first. That's the conversation we're going to help you through. It's going to be one-on-one, tailored to you, custom conversation for a custom construction of a custom cash flow system. That's what we're going to help you with.
I love it.
All right, Jonah, go to the comments, man.
Yeah, we got a question from Tony. What's up, Tony?
What up,
Happy
Tony?
New Year, Tony.
Appreciate you, man.
Tony has already been on live with me on TikTok this year.
Yeah,
maybe the 31st time.
Tony's always got good input. Yeah. So, okay, his question is, should I pay my rent with my policy?
You should pay my rent with your policy, first off, Tony.
Should I pay my rent with my policy? Let's dive into it. You got it? I got it.
You got it.
All right, cool. So, Tony, the answer is you can pay anything you want with your policy, but let's talk and walk you through it, right? Let's talk and walk you through it. Okay, so first off, rent's due every month normally. In the places that I've lived before with rent, they're due every month. My mortgage is surely due every month currently. So I'm pretty positive that's how it works. Normally it's a $1, $2, $3 grand, just depending on where you live, right? This is how this stuff works. It's normally a pretty big expense in your monthly budget. Like if your whole, expenses is $5 grand a month, rent's probably a good 1,500, a good 20 to 30% of that. That's just normally how rent works. I just want to I'm going through the facts of rent so we can relate.
The facts of rent,
right?
The facts of rent.
Is
How
that
many
one
are
of the
old
songs?
enough? That's
from the Rent
no,
musical.
No, Facts of Life.
570,000 minutes in that Rent.
That's true. we both sing it. Hey, we got to watch it. Get your shows in.
Okay. So Tony, let's
right.
go back to you. So the answer to the question is, sure, you can absolutely pay your rent with your policy. Let's walk through how you do it, right? Let's say, so rent's due. It's January 2nd. Rent's due. Maybe you've paid it already. Maybe you haven't. Maybe it's you're not late till the 5th or 10th or whatever. Rent's due. So let's say you take a policy loan to pay the rent. Okay. So I'm just making up your rent's $2 grand. You take a policy loan of $2 grand. It'll show up in 2-3 days, direct deposit speed. And then you're going to use the money and you're going to put it toward your rental agreement. You're going to log in online. You're going to click the button. Now you've paid your rent. Okay. What you've got now is your income, the money that you normally use to pay the rent, still sitting in your bank account, sitting in your pocket, your income. So what you want to do with the income is you want to take that and you want to repay your policy with it. But here's the key. To be a good banker, to be an honest banker, you always repay more than you took out. So if your rent's $2,000, please hear me, Tony. I'm not saying you got to repay $3,000, $4,000. You can if you have it, if you want to. But I'm saying if you take $2,000 out of your policy to pay the rent, we've got to repay 2001, 2005, 2050, 2100, 2200. You got to put back in more than you took out. When you do that, the magic happens. That's when the magic happens of being a banker. First things first, all of the money that you replace in your policy will be available to you as cash value. Okay, that's first. That's important. I don't want you to think I lost it because I put it in my policy. You did not. Secondly, all of the excess, the extra, the interest, the above and beyond, whether it was $5, $10, $50, $100 that you put in your policy, goes into your policy as something called paid up additions. And paid up additions do some great things for your policy. First, they increase your death benefit, meaning your family's getting more money. Hey, if I remember correctly, Tony was talking about getting married. I think he is married now.
He did. And he also just threw in that rent is 26 hundo.
26. See, I was close. 26, right? That's more than my mortgage, man.
Yeah. What are you doing? Where do you live?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Right. Get you a house. That's unsolicited. You didn't need that, but that's a lot. Okay, cool. So here's the key. When you put in extra, the excess, whether it was $50, $100, that turns into paid up additions. Paid up additions increase your death benefit. That means the significant other gets more money when you're gone. That's what increased death benefit means. Cash value, as Jeremiah always says, the equity today of the death benefit, the payoff one day. How'd I do?
Equity today, future pay.
The equity
Future
today,
pay, liquid today.
right? The equity today, the liquid today, the cash value has to reach the death benefit. That's where we're getting all the money from. So if the death benefit increases, man, you just bought yourself more cash value over the course of your lifetime. You bought it. And that means that not only did I keep all the money today, because again, that was the first thing I said, you put it all in, you have it, but you bought yourself more money every year for the rest of your life. That's what you did by adding in the extra $50 or whatever. Rent still got paid, right? You just added one step. Instead of my income pays the rent. Well, I could have done that too. My income pays for the Christmas presents. I could have done that too. We add a step. My policy pays that stuff. And then I use my income to repay the policy. Because when I repay the policy, everything increases. Death benefit goes up, cash goes up, dividends go up. We didn't even talk about dividends. Dividends go up, everything goes up, man.
Sean,
so absolutely you can.
So Tony says, got it. Very good. Okay. Sean, can you talk about dividends? Jonah just brought up something else that is a positive and often misunderstood piece of the puzzle for this cash flow conversation. Dividends. What's going on there? And I'm trying to make sure that you can be heard on TikTok as well. I want to check that. Go
Yeah.
ahead, Sean.
So dividends want to be very straightforward and clear here. Dividends are not guaranteed by these participating whole life policy and these companies that we're using. But one thing that you want to know is we use companies. Doesn't matter which company, we use companies that have been around for a long time, 100, 120 plus years, that have a long track record of paying these dividends, these little bit extra on top every year to their policyholders. And when you are part of a mutual company, you have ownership in that company. So this is one point that I like to make all the time when people ask, why am I paying to borrow my money? Big misconception that you're not paying to borrow your money. You're using OPM, the insurance company's money. But one thing that's really cool is when I loan money from the insurance company to go out and use, they charge me interest, just like any normal business would. Well, when I pay that interest back to the company, that's not benefiting my policy as far as I can see. It's not, there's no, my cash value is not increasing from that interest that I owe back to the company. But when you pay interest back to a bank, and does that benefit you in any way? Oh, I had $100, $1,000, and I owed them a minimum payment of $100, and interest was included. That helps the bank out. Does nothing for you. When I pay interest to the insurance company for loaning me their money, that looks fantastic on their books. The better the insurance company does, the better my dividend is at the end of every year when I receive it. So you got to flip the mindset and realize all I'm doing when I'm paying interest from loaning this money from the insurance company is putting more money on their books so they can give me more dividends when that time comes back around, which I put right back into the death benefit to purchase me more paid up insurance, to give me more cash value. And that cycle never stops going.
There it is. Sean and I actually looked at a policy that I had. We looked at the dividends just a few days ago, actually. This policy was 4 years old, and so I got 4 years of dividends. We literally pulled up the piece of paper they gave us when I started this policy in 2020.
It was your policy?
It was.
Oh, yeah.
It,
Okay.
it was a policy that I own.
Yeah.
We looked at the piece of paper they gave us in 2020 when this thing started. I think it was it December? Yeah, it was December 2020.
Because it just
And then
passed
we
it.
looked at the annual statement I just got like last week, because this was the policy that was due last week. Just looked at the annual statement I just got last week, and the dividends that I had accumulated over the last 4 years were even higher than the dividends they had put on the paper. Let's go. Right. You just gave me but that just put it in my head. I got to do a whole dividend YouTube video now. I
100%.
got 4 different companies. We can go check in on these dividends.
100%. Ladies and gentlemen, understand that dividends are often miscalculated in people's mind on TikTok, on YouTube, and things like that. They don't know where they're coming from. Remember, there are guarantees before and outside of the dividends. That's all I want to say to add to Sean's beautiful explanation of how dividends benefit you and how your policy continues to get better. Jonah's going to drop something real soon. He's promised. So be looking for that on our YouTube channel. We do a lot of mid-form type content. We have shorts and reels on YouTube at the Banking Bros channel. We have kind of mid-form content that is probably 5 to 10 minutes that we drop all the time. And we have podcasts, the long-form content. So that's going to be a great one, Jonah. I'm looking forward to it, to see some real numbers. Everybody's out there, especially in TikTok. Show me the money. Show me the money. So we're going to do that. Michael is a CFP. He's got a couple letters behind his name. He's been walking through some of my lives recently. Michael, if you can hear me, I would love to know what part of the cash flow system we're talking about, infinite banking, sometimes you feel is not represented well with someone who has knowledge, a wide knowledge of some other things. So you know probably about investments. You're probably helping people with retirement plans in traditional sense, qualified plans, things like that. Drop something in the chat right now. Normally, you're not able to get something out when I'm going live because the people are going nuts in the comments. So if you're still with us, my man, Michael R. Clark, CFP on TikTok, the Banking Bros channel, drop us something here that we can respond to and have a very constructive conversation about, or ask us a question or two, because you're traditionally helping people probably in some other ways with their cash flow or their nest egg or something like that. How would you say it? Reminder, everybody, we've said several things here today that point you toward the gospel according to Nelson. So go to Becoming Your Own Banker online, wherever you can find it. You can come to our website if you want, thebankingbros.com, thecashcompound.com, or I think there's a bookstore somewhere online in your town called Amazon. Yep. So go there, grab that book, 5th edition, the black book. It's a 2-day read. You know, some people are like, oh, this is really easy. It's a 1-day read. Not for me. Okay. So I'm going to give you guys an extra day for if you read like me. 96 or so pages to help you understand the mind from which this came from. A lot of times we're out here, not today, but a lot of times I end up talking about the product. A lot of times, whole life insurance, constructed custom. This is the mindset of being a banker. We're just going to use the product for it. So that's where you want to start, or saveandspensystem.com. Michael, drop us something. We'd love to chat through it.
One thing,
and,
JJ,
if you can hear and see me. Yeah, go ahead, Sean.
I love about the book is Nelson touches on other things that you could utilize in the process of infinite banking through, because again, infinite banking is the concept. It can be used in a lot of different spaces where people keep and store their money. It just happens to be that whole life, properly structured, participating whole life insurance is the best vehicle to give you the most benefits from that concept. So if it was the 401k that allowed us to do it, or the high yield savings account, we would, believe us, we would be using that. We know the stigma that comes with life insurance. If it could be anything else, we would love it to be anything else. It just happens to be whole life insurance. So I think that's he covers that stuff in the book, which I think is really awesome.
Super helpful. I got a would you rather for you guys. You guys ready for this?
Born ready.
All right. Would you rather pay off all your debts immediately with cash? Pay off all your debts immediately with cash, or Would you rather pay off your debts with your infinite banking policy, but it'll take you an extra 2 years?
It's a great question. So it depends. Let's have the talk show format answer. Because what are the debts? How bad do they hurt? Are they private debts? Some of you owe people money in your house right now because you borrowed money from them to pay for Christmas presents for them. So like, is it going to make Easter dinner awkward the next time you see your grandma because you borrowed money from her last month? Is it a 20% credit card, right? Is it a student loan? Jonah's got some student loans, and I don't know who he's voting for, but he's trying to wait out, not like Sean. He's trying to wait it out to see if some of them are going to be forgiven.
I'm going to pay them off if they try to turn them back on. But
Okay.
if they don't turn them back on, but if they don't turn them back
Also-
on, I'll wait.
Also, you had another specific situation because the school you went to shut down.
Yeah.
So, like
so
that-
if I fill out the right paperwork, I
Yeah.
can get them forgiven. But I've tried once and it got denied. I got to try again. I just wanted to wait a few years.
Okay, so in 2025, here's what I would say. Where I am right now, I've been practicing infinite banking now. It's going to be my 10-year anniversary of paying premiums in March. And right now, for every dollar I put into certain policies of my 2 handfuls, I got 9+ policies. Every dollar that goes in, around $1.50 is available in new cash value. That is 60 days away for me.
It'll be your 11th time paying premiums.
11th time
10th
paying
year.
premium? Well,
Yeah,
I
you
started in
paid
2016. 2016.
No, you started in 15, man.
No, sir. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10th. Okay, so I'm going to let Jonah figure it out. He does not do years math as well as me. Okay,
At all.
so he admitted it. Okay, so my 10th premium, for every dollar I put in, approximately $1.50 in this particular policy that I've owned the longest. So it's my favorite one. So I'm saying I'd rather spend 2 years because I'd rather keep my dollars compounding. And now I emotionally and psychologically see how 9 years of compounding is actually affecting my cash flow.
Yeah.
I see it. And so every time I used it all year, I've been using it all year. I used it with someone this past week. Remember, we're doing these cash consultations all across the country for people all the time. And I say, for every dollar I put in this year, $1.40 was ready. It was pending literally in the app the next day when I went online and looked. So I say 3 things to that to answer your question. When I look at my contribution of premium, pay, put, keep, save, buy life insurance, not invest.
Yep.
And I see SEE, $1.40 for every dollar I put in, 3 responses. Praise God. 2, wish I put in more money 10 years ago.
Yep.
3, somebody should have told my mom about this before 10
Come
years
on, mama.
ago. So I'm going to say I'm actually, depending on the type of debt and how bad it hurts and who it's owed to,
Yeah.
I'm going to wait it out 2 years. Use cash value.
Sean, what you got? Right now, wait it out.
Yeah. Again, if I was your average person and I didn't know about infinite banking, I'm hopping on that right now because again, those interest payments hurt.
Yeah.
Seeing like Jadu said, depends how much money is, but the common person that knows nothing about infinite banking says wipe those debts clean right now because they don't understand the opportunity cost of the money that's leaving their system. So
Right.
for somebody that's educated like myself, who's read the book multiple times and been through all of this and done this process, you know, my answer is
Wait it
my
out.
answer is exactly what I did. I'm keeping that.
Yeah, there you go. You know what's crazy to me about one of your comments that you said is people, the interest payments hurt. And the reason I say that that's crazy is because I think people feel interest payment I agree with you. The interest payments hurt people, but only certain ones, which I don't understand really well. Like your house has so much interest on this stinking payment. Your mortgage is $2,000 and 1,900 of it is interest, and people are cool with that one. But the credit card company, $75 and 70 of it is interest, and they lose their mind. The interest is too high.
Jonah brings up a good point. It's not a math game. Nope. It's an emotional, psychological game. And if you play the math game, we can have completely different conversations. But most people are not playing the math game well. And even if they are playing the math game well, now let me define it. Playing the math game well is they understand the difference between those two interests. They understand the volume, they understand the rate. But once you do that, now you're able to have a different conversation. And most of you who are probably listening to us are exactly where we were 10 years ago. We were not finance bros. We were just brothers. And what we were doing actually was all emotionally charged because we never did math. So we made up our own math and tried to have returns in the market because we didn't realize banking was killing us on the interest.
Right.
Banking was killing us on withdrawal payments.
You know what's crazy about that?
We didn't do it.
If you understand the rate versus volume aspect, and again, for all those who are watching, here's what I mean by that, right? Think about your mortgage payment. Your rate is 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%. That's the rate on your mortgage. We all know that. But the volume of interest is in your entire payment. Your entire payment is interest, right? But if you understand the rate versus the volume question, you make completely different decisions. Completely different decisions.
And you're allowed to. You get new information. Sean mentioned, I'm now educated. The way he said it almost like hurt my feelings. If I was listening to the way he said that, I wouldn't have taken it well 10 years ago, because I'm like, I'm working so hard. I've tried to do all the math on my Bitcoin. I've tried to do all the math on my, I'll have it at 65 when I retire because I had a Roth IRA. So what do you mean I'm uneducated? I would have taken that I would have taken that tough. So if you're out there and you're trying to figure us out and you're trying to figure the math out, let me implore you to let's walk through this conversation so we can introduce you to new information.
There you go.
You get the new information, you might make a new decision. And crazy like us who saw the light, you make a extremely life-changing new decision. Because you're like, I didn't even realize that was a factor. So when you're looking at Doc Brown in Back to the Future, talk about the time-space continuum and the flux capacitor, we got to go back to the past to get to the right future. Like, we've got to realize that there's time, space, depth, money, opportunity costs. Like, you got interest, rate, volume. You got to look at more than the two things you're probably looking for. And the two things you're probably looking for right now are income, let me just make more, and payment, can I afford it?
Bars. I'll be Marty McFly, though. You could be Doc Brown.
I'm just trying to get them shoes, them shoes that Marty was.
They got them out.
Yeah.
You got to pay for them, but they
do have to pay for them. But those were high tops.
Yeah.
Not
They
the
self-lace.
Go. Okay. So we're going to wrap things up here in a second. Jonah, what are you thinking as we close down our hour? We will be back next Thursday, 12 Eastern, with another coaching hour with our personalities here at the Cash Compound. Everybody here practices code cracking cash flow. We want to have that conversation with you, and we want to help walk and talk you through what in the world is going on utilizing life insurance as a bank. What does this mean? So tune in, join us on our Facebook group, private group, Infinite Bankers. Jonah, take us out and let us know what the people are saying in the comments.
Yeah. Let me grab this question really quick from
Janet.
Oh, Janet. Is that J Led 0324? Janet. What's up, Janet? Let me get your question real quick, Janet. Okay, LPUA. That is just an abbreviation for, it stands for something. Each letter stands for something. L stands for level. PUA stands for paid up additions. So level paid up additions means the paid up additions inside your policy that is level each and every month, each and every year, however your payment frequency is. Okay, so it's the level one. So if you call the insurance company, LLIC, and her comment for anyone who's watching is an insurance company that stands for, it's just one of the insurance companies. You can ask us who it is later. But if you call them and you say, can I get in more level PUA, LPUA, they're going to give you one of two answers. If you've missed any PUA up to that point in the year, they'll of course say yes, and they'll tell you the dollar amount you've missed because it's level, so you can always add what you missed, right? If you have not missed anything and you're trying to add additional PUA, which is good, that's how you make the magic happen in your policy, and they've told you that you can do so, but only until a certain date, more than likely it's because that's your anniversary date. More than likely. So they're basically saying, yes, you can add this much this year, is what they're saying. And they're saying probably, hey, if you ask us again next year, we'll have to calculate and to give you a different number.
Hopefully that was
more than
helpful to
likely
you.
that's what's happening. If that's not exactly it, Janet, then give me some more information and I can be helpful to you. But more than likely, that's it.
All right, Sean, any thoughts as we go into 2025? Tell us, what are we going to look back and reflect on in 1 year on one of these live events and be telling people, I'm so happy that during this year I accomplished XYZ. Financially, we checked this box. We crossed this barrier. We went over this bridge. What do you expect to see from your policies, your financial life, and your code cracking cash flow in 2025?
So I expect to see a lot more cash flow coming in because we have a lot of big plans this year for taking the cash that we've accumulated and starting to send it out to start making us passive income. So Amanda and I have sat down and we've kind of planned things out to hit specific goals of passive income on a yearly basis. And by the end of by the start of 2028, we want to be at about $12,000 a month passive. So we're putting things in place right now that is going to allow us to do that. And again, it's really just budgeting, laying things out, and giving the money a job to where it should be going, and just kind of tracking everything. So it's going to be a big year for us, but not just us. I'm trying to teach people and show people what the opportunities are out there that they can take advantage. I'm never going to tell you what to do, but I am more than happy to tell you what we are doing to create some financial freedom in our life. So all education-based stuff.
Yes, sir. Jonah, same question. What can we expect to hear from you in 2025 as we shut it down for the day?
New year, new me. No, but it's the same me though. What you're going to hear from me is the message that we are always teaching people: how to save and spend money at the exact same time, how to be your own banker, right? We got a friend who goes by like America's #1 money mentor or something. I'm thinking about going by America's #1 banker. I'm the best banker you know. So I don't know.
I'll help you with your title.
Give me
though.
some alliterate.
Yeah.
I got B's though. To BBB. Anyway, you're going to hear from me.
Same me though.
Same me though, right? You're going to hear from me more of the same. Like, let's help you be a banker. Let's help you recapture your money. Let's help you save and spend money at the same time. Let's do it this year. This year's the plan. We got an Instagram comment recently that somebody said 6 months to go or something. I think they're waiting to get their money right?
I think I
But
remember
let's do it this year. And that's what I want to help you with.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're signing off here for our first live cash coaching hour, Thursdays, noon Eastern. Join us on our Facebook group for alerts. Always hit us up on The Banking Bros on Instagram, but we're called Infinite Bankers on our Facebook private group channel, where you can always ask questions that we answered today for the good of the group and see what other people are doing. Peace out, everybody. We're looking for creating code cracking cash flow conversations for you in 2025. Talk soon.
Now tuned to the banking bro. Said we couldn't make it, drink or settle, this the life we chose. Gave a lot of game, we never got a lot of things. Bow your head and say the prayer, we taught you how to be the bank.